everyone. I'm Minella Sagabilan, and I'm going to tackle about from the first quarter store to the liberation of Partial. So from 1965 to 1972, ang mga tao din is nagkaisa such as students, workers, farmers, the poor, and the even professional joined protest and strike to demand a change from President Marcos, who was in his second term. So ang mga tao din that time is they wanted solution. They wanted the president to fix their problems such as corruption, poverty, and unfair treatment. But instead of meeting these demands, so instead of pagpabino sa ila, ang government is nag-respond sa ila with force. So these tensions led to the first quarter storm. So the first quarter storm is a period of violent protests and clashes. So the country's problems in politics, the economy, education, and society made it feel like a social volcano. So sa kalagan ng problem pag-ibisa nila tayo is kulang na nagtawa, gamay na lang explode na yun. So Marcos then declared the martial law, saying it was to stop further chaos and to allow them more time to reform the nation. So the Marcos era in the Philippines was marked by multiple crises that affected various sectors in our society. So this crisis fueled with widespread discontent and ultimately led to significant social and political chaos. So during the time is ang countries that take crisis na gina-face such as widespread hopelessness and discontent during the Marcos era sparked mass protests. And during the time is mostly ang nag-led sa protest is the students and youth with gatsan sila ang makibaka huwag matakot. Another one is the economic crisis from the government overspending cost inflation and rising prices, unemployment and low wages worsened to slow industrial growth, labor strikes and protests erupted over unfair conditions and high fuel costs. Next is the crony capitalism. So the Marcos regime practiced crony capitalism. Crony capitalism is where the Marcos allies and foreign investors were favored, often at the expense of local business and the general population, and failed land reforms which did not effectively distributed ang mga land sa mga landless na mga farmers. Another one is the urban poverty rose as rural families moved to overcrowded cities. Police brutally and loss of freedom anchored the middle class. U.S. military abuses fueled anti-American and nationalist sentiments, and all sectors united against dictatorship, corruption, and foreign control. So this crisis, both economic and social, contributed to a volatile environment that eventually led to the People Power Revolution until 1986, which ousted Marcos from power. So the Marcos era serves as a reminder sa tuwa na importante ang good governance, social justice, and the respect of human rights.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Carla Faye Garcia, and I am the reporter of this report, the first quarter storm of 1970. A turning point in Philippine student activism, period of social unrest from January to March 1970, led by students protesting Marcos' plan to extend his rule, marked this rise of youth activism. Ang dili siya mga part is naantay plano si Marcos nga magkuhan siya og 7 ikapito ata niya magporma sa pagdagan ng presidente, pero murag ni kuhan na ng uban ng mga students na nag-protest na sa iyang plano nga stop na iyang pagkuhan kay murag sobra na kayo siya sa iyang mga plano sa Philippines. On January 26 protest, students rallied at the Legislative Building. Violence erupted after object thrown at Marcos. Dili siya mga parties kanang natoy after niya sa iyang zona nga katong zona niya nga like zona lang to nanagin na siya plano nga mudagan pa siya otro as a president as katong after niya after niya pag ingon sa iyahang zona is murag na chance ang mga protester at mga kanang maglabay sa iyahang mga object. And murag after ni nato din kay kanang murag naada yon mga police nga response o gi-criticize sa mga katong mga protester. And isa sa kanang sa kanang ani nga kay nay namatay nga estudyante like si Liza Balando, tapos naday uban nga mga students nga injured. Battle of Mendiola happened on January 13, 1917. Larger, more militant protests near Malacanang became symbol of resistance and demand for reform. After atong sa katong January 26 nga protest, kanina po dahil ang isunod tayo Battle of Mendiola. Pero wala gapon ni siya na protestant kay namin mga pulis na ni kuan gapon sa ilahan ni respondent bitang stop gapon nila pag-protest. Continued protest. More protestants nationwide. Teachers, students, workers. Diliman Union, UP campus occupied for 12 days. Calls for education reform and job opportunities. Dili gyapon to nga protestants nga nilong gyud ka ng 12 days. Tapos nanay ito yung mga student, nanay yung mga workers, mga farmers, mga kuan nga niyapil na sa pag-protest sa katong plano ni Marcos na magagat sa kuan. Public reaction. Critics, students provoke violence. Supporters defend protest as just and necessary. Senator Eva Estrada Calao condemned police brutally. Dili kay kuan. Murag daghan na kay ang kuan gid ani nga ni apil nata sa protest tapos ang mga pulis na kay murag brutal na kay sila mapagkanang kuan kay kanang imbis na kanang pagkuan nila sa mga protester kay kanang sa pinakauna kay dili pa kayo nila ginapasakitan pero pag-abot sa kanang ingani nila kay kanang gidako na gidon kay murag ilan ang ginapasakitan ng mga protester. The first quarter storm revealed deep public discontent, unified people against corruption and dictatorship, marked as historic era of youth and social activism. Dili siya kay kanang ang ilahang kaning the first quarter storm in 1997. 3 months ni siya nilong January to March ata tapos wala gyapon nila na kuan gyapon ang pagkuan ni Marcos nga as president. Napadayon gyapon ni Marcos nga murag napagyapon siya ikuan nga nagyapon siya yung chance na magpamadag gyapon nga president kay siya man ang nag-hold ato mga time gyapon siya gyapon yung president.
Good morning everyone, I'm Julius Carabino Chapi. The 1971 Constitutional Convention and the 1973 Constitution. Academics, professional and church leaders joined calls for a new constitution to replace the 1935 colonial constitution. In the early 1970s, Philippine urged for a new constitution to replace the outdated 1935 chapter, and President Ferdinand Marcos then completed the 1971 convention, but after declaring martial law in 1972, he influenced its outcome. The 1973 constitution that allowed shift black government to parliamentary system, expanding Marcos' power. and legitimizing his rule. In the Constitution Convention opened in June 1971, led by Carlos P. Garcia and later Diosdado Macapagal, the 1971 Constitution, the Convention opened in June 1971 to draft a new constitution. The draft constitution was first led by former President Carlos P. Garcia. After his death, former President Diosdado Macapagal took over despite the political tensions in the declaration of martial law that convention continued work which later resulted in 1973 Constitution that Marcos rule. Debates focus on shifting form of presidential parliamentary system. During the 1971 Constitutional Convention, indicates the debate on changing the government from presidential to parliamentary from a presidential system supports to make governance more efficient, while others fear it could lead abuse of power in the end. The 1973 Constitution adopted a parliamentary system which increased President Marcos' authority. Marcos supported to change to extend his power as a prime minister. During 1971 constitutional, Marcos allies supported the shift to the parliamentary system so that he could stay in power as a prime minister, extended and legitimizing his rule under martial law. The student protest and unrest were allegedly manipulated by Marcos to justify emergency rule. Early in 1970s, student protests and social unrest that erupted in the Philippines over the issue like government corruption and inequality. President Marcos used this event as the reason to declare martial law in 1972, claimed it was necessary to maintain order and national security. Critics argued that he is speaking government and race to justify seizing emergency power and consolidating control over government. On August 21, 1971, the Plaza Miranda bombing injured many opposition leaders. On August 21, 1971, bombing occurred to Plaza Miranda in Manila during a political rally of the opposition Liberal Party. The explosion in the plaza of political supporters, causing the nationwide shock and fear. Marcos used the incident to sustain the obvious purpose to play it was necessary to protect public safety, which critics argue was a way to strengthen his control over the pandemic suppress positions. Marcos claimed to a community suspend the rate of obvious purpose and appears near enough. After the Plaza Miranda bombing in 1971, President Marcos claimed that his group was attacked in the suspend Marcos also offers position leaders in the criminal who were involved in using the incident to justify crackdowns in political opponents and increase his control over the government. Despite all the crisis to Marcos' effect in disorder to prepare for martial law. Even though there was no real crisis, President Marcos used the climate of fear, protests, and social unrest to justify the need for stronger government control by portraying the country as chaotic and under threat. He prepared public opinion and legal grounds in the martial law in 1972, which allowed him to exercise powers of press, opposition, involved in the democratic and the 1973 Constitution later legitimized this approach, transforming change the shaping of in the 1973 Constitution effectively legitimized that Ferdinand Marcos extended rule by changing the government from a presidential to a parliamentary system, which allowed him to vote exclusive and legislative power, especially as a prime minister, giving him unprecedented control over the country. As a result of the Constitution marked the beginning of authoritarian rule in the Philippines, concentrating power in Marcosian and beginning democratic institution.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Priscilla Pinada, and I'm going to talk about the Declaration of Martial Law in 1972. So, martial law is the proclamation number 1081, dated September 21, 1972, and it was actually signed 4 days earlier. So, prior ani sa pag-sign sa proclamation, a series of bombing incidents took place, and all of these bombing incidents were blamed on the activist group in the urban centers with links to the countryside, rebels such as the Communists. But according sa mga former alliance ni Marcos, kani nga mga incidents na nahitabo is appeal sa plan ni Marcos para to show anarchy, terror, fear, and despair as the precondition for the imposition of the martial law. And the fake ambush of Defense Secretary Juan Ponce Enrile serves as the signal for its formal declaration on September 23, 1972. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Priscilla Pinada, and I'm going to talk about the Declaration of Martial Law in 1972. So, martial law is the proclamation number 1081, dated September 21, 1972, and it was actually signed 4 days earlier. So, prior ani sa pag-sign sa proclamation, a series of bombing incidents took place, and all of these bombing incidents were blamed on the activist group in the urban centers with links to the countryside, rebels such as the Communists. But according sa mga former alliance ni Marcos, kani nga mga incidents na nahitabo is appeal sa plan ni Marcos para to show anarchy, terror, fear, and despair as the precondition for the imposition of the martial law. And the fake ambush of Defense Secretary Juan Ponce Enrile serves as the signal for its formal declaration on September 23, 1972. So, first on the list to be arrested is Senador Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. na siya planong dagan sa pagka-president sa laborers, and student activists nga dili gusto bitaw nga ma-extend ang term ni Marcos. And kaningatan during sa martial law, si Marcos ang nag-assume sa tanan power from executive, legislative, and judicial. And during martial law, military ang nag-rule and si Marcos kanay nag-command kung sa ang ilahang buhaton. But surprisingly, the nation received the proclamation in silence and with calmness. So to allay the fear of the people, si Marcos went on air to give message. And sa iyong message dito, giingon niya nga, I assure you, I am utilizing the power vested in me with the Constitution to save the Republic and reform our society. With the persisting negative political, economic, and social problems, the declaration of martial law appeared to be justified for the majority. He also announced that martial law, which suspend constitutional rights, was only for a limited period. He said that he needed time and the force of arms to crush the communists as well as the Muslim successionists rebels in the South. His critics, however, were too quick to rebut Marcos' justification. They argued that martial law was declared to save Marcos and not the nation, and not the Republic. Marcos wasted no time. Within the next few months, he tried to restore peace and order, cleaned up the government of its corrupt and insufficient personal cut-down criminality, and set up as a systematic plan to develop the economy. But to many activists who were detained, tortured, and even killed upon the declaration of martial law, Marcos' words and plans amounted to nothing but empty premise and pure rhetorics. On the surface, martial rule seems to have restored order. In time, as the months turned into years, the Marcos regime, backed by the military, would reveal that more than reforming a society, the intent was to crush dissent and hostility to his plan to stay in power for an indefinite length of time. So the Philippines until 1972 held election regularly every 4 years for the president, vice president, and the congressman. So every 2 years for a third of the Senate. The president was allowed to run for second term and thus stay in power for a maximum of 8 years. In 1972, President Ferdinand E. Marcos, who was on his second and last term, was able to extend his stay in office in third term. He was able to do this through the 1935 Constitution, which provided for martial law, as long as the condition justifying its declaration existed, such condition were invasion, insurrections, or rebellion, or imminent danger thereof where the public safety requires it. Mo niya katong higit ko ni Marcos na naging sila ng plan rada niya. Yapin niya sa iyang plano na pamumbahan ng mga area para dapat ikabuto ng panitabo. And tungod ato, pwede ma-declare ang martial law. Next. So, President Marcos, through what he called constitutional authoritarianism, extended his presidency that lasted 20 years or 2 decades, the longest in Philippine history, with martial rule, the 1971 Constitution that provided for a transitory form of government. Under it, the term of office of all officials, starting with the president, was extended. To effectively silence the opposition, the Congress was padlocked and media was shut down. And Marcos critics and rebels were arrested and detained. Muna yung gihimo para wala dito yung musupang sa iyang mga gusto. Marcos promised of a new society that would solve insurgency, criminality, and poverty help to wipe down dissent from the majority of the population. The repressive measures of martial law, however, forced the activists to go underground where they converged into a force called People Power, triggered by Ninoy Aquino's assassination and fueled by the heroic acts for the restoration of democracy. by the broad sector of society.
Everyone, I am Young Carlos. So, ako kita ko ang Marcos New Society. So, ang Marcos New Policy, which is the New Society, so during sa iyang regime ni Marcos, nag-envision siya o kanang New Society, or ginatawag niya nga bagong lipunan through what he called the revolution from the center. So, ang kaning revolution from the center, or kaning nga center na ginatawag is, or the concept anin na iyang saying ba, kaning nga center is, kanina rin siya ito na rin siya mga tao na majority na rin siya sa mga Filipinos na were not radical leftist, like radical leftist means like mga communist or like mga rich oligarchs. So, para mahitabo ni or para mabuhat niya ang new society ni Marcos is na siya kanang mga aims bitan niya. So ang iyang aim ani is kanang para sa peaceful society na naay discipline, self-reliance, and progress led by a strong government without violence. So para mahitabo na siyang new society is nagpass ni siya mga laws which kanang gibuhat ni Marcos himself na tinatawag nato as mga presidential decrees. So kaning mga example sa presidential decrees yung i-pass is kanang ang NEDA or National Economic and Development National Economic and Development Authority. So kani siyang PDs. Gahelp niya siya para mag-plan and mag-coordinate sa mga economic and social development ng mga programs. And also, ang NGA or National Grains Authority which controls sa supply sa rice and also sa ilang prices para ang mga tao hindi sila mag-suffer sa shortage or sa pagtaas ng presyo. So, also napagi ko si Marcos na yung land reform initiatives. So si Marcos, naghatag ko siya mga chances sa mga changes din. Naghatag ko siya mga changes sa farming, like iyang i-introduce ang land reform para matagaan ang chance ang mga farmers na own nila ang mga land na ilang gitrabahuan, freeing them from rich landlords. Also, kaning government is nagpatutulog sila og kanang mga schools, mga hospitals, roads, bridges, and ports to help improve the community's infrastructures, and also mga energy projects like geothermal power plants and nuclear plant in Bataan where naghatag siya. So changes in foreign policies and diplomatic relations legislations. So si Marcos daw is nakipag-friends na siya sa mga communist countries like China and Soviet Union. So it breaks the long pro-US stance sa Philippines. And also nag-join po ang Philippines sa ASEAN at 1976. The end of Laurel-Langley Agreement and reduced US presence. So ang Laurel-Langley Agreement is a special trade that ended in 1974. So siyang expiration is nag-end ni siya sa control sa US over key economic aspects sa Philippines. Like sa pag-push sa Philippines into a more independent trade and economic policies. So during sa time ni Marcos, which aligns sa iyang vision na bagong lipunan. So worsening economic and political crisis. So during the start sa martial law, it made the country peaceful daw. So ang mga prices daw sa mga basic goods kaya sa una is kanang ibaba and making the people na kanang hopeful bitaw nga naay kabaguhan. But tungod sa mga kanang big projects ni Marcos like kanang mga infrastructures ngayon hindi pang buhat is kanang kailangan bitaw sila mag-loan para mabuhat na siya ng mga projects. So it leads to kanang huge debts sa like mga other countries and organizations like IMF or International Monetary Fund o World Bank. So tungod ani nga mga loans, kanang it cost the Philippines to owe a lot of money sa kanila mga bangko. So in return, para mabayaran ang kanila mga utang is iyang i-raise ang mga taxes, which makes the lives of Filipino harder. So, in summary, wala nag-work ang land reform kay tungkol sa kawalaan ng budget sa government para tagaan ng tabang ang mga farmers. And also, kung ang economy aning nga time is nagdepende sila too much sa exporting goods like coconut and sugar, which makes the price go high or mas ginatawag inflation. So and also po ang budget po sa education and sa healthcare is like income down para mag-focus sila sa military. So many farmers lost their land tungod kay gihatag ni siya sa mga sa mining, sa forestry or mga foreign companies. So para po matabangan ang economy daw, ang government nato is nagpadala sila og kanang mga Filipino workers abroad para mag-work para mag-work and ginatawag sila as overseas contract workers. So atong 1980s daw, many people were angry kay Marcos and sa iyang mga friends tungkol sa rumors na nagtago na sila ng kwarta sa tobacco, sugar, and coconut industries. So this leads to oppression kay Marcos. So mga political controls and elections na ay mga as said kanina na ay mga opposition leaders na gusto mo mutagan pagka-presidente para ma-end ang paano ni Marcos ang iyang term. So like na ay mga opposition leaders from parties like Nationalista and Liberal Party so that ginagamit nila ni Marcos ang martial law and also ang mga new laws nga iyang ipang-pass para mag-stay sa iyang power forever. So, instead ganapon ganina, many opponents of Marcos were bribed, threatened, or jailed. Sa pulaan ay si Ninoy Aquino, siya famous opposition leader ng ibang prison ni Marcos. So, dapat si Imelda Marcos, which is ang iyang asawa, ni Ferdinand Marcos, she also became powerful same sa iyang husband. It's because nag-manage siya appeal sa Metro Manila and other ganang mga human settlements. So kanya sila ang duha, tinatawag na sila as conjugal dictatorship. It is because both of them, the husband and the wife, control many government projects and resources. So during ato 1978 to 1981 na time is nag-held si Marcos og elections. But sa kanina elections is kanang ninaro is because ginamit ni Marcos ang power and money sa government para dali siya magdaon. So naigayon ng mga critics na although naging si Marcos nga na-lift na niya ang martial law, but many critics said na naapadyak nito ang martial law. Pero hindi sa kanya siya. So, all in all, so kanina constitution is na-change lang siya para stop ang mga opposition leaders from running for president like Ninoy Aquino. And para po ma-protect ni Marcos and also yung mga officials from legal charges after leaving the office. So, after the elections is na-boycott siya. So the 1991 elections was boycotted tungkol kay walay mga real reforms. So in the end, si Marcos Japon ang nadaog with 88% of the vote. So during June 30, 1981, marked the start of Fourth Republic, continuing his rule, or shall we say,
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Alexa Naninis Chibole, and I'm going to report about the mass movement and the martial law. So, the declaration of martial law effectively silenced protest movement of the first quarter storm. So, sa first quarter storm, nagitato before sa previous reporter is dira siya protest siya last 3 months from February to March, and then going back, hundreds were detained. This includes leaders of leftist peoples and organizations were the people na naay sa politics, such as Kabataang Kabayan, Samahan ng Demokratikong Kababaihan, Panunlatas sa Kaunlaran ng Sambayanan, and many more. Leaders of traditional politics parties such as Liberal Party and Nationalista Party, and progressive writers, journalists, and broadcasters, it took many years before those who spoke and wrote about what was really happening under martial law would be heard. Protests to the exercising absolute control by Marcos took the form of hunger strike by political prisoners inside their cells. During the 1978 local election, the opposition candidate had no access to pro-administration media which were owned by Marcos. So katong tayong mga people na ga-oppose kang Marcos is wala sila access sa any media outlets at that time. With the restriction on rallies and publics, for the opposition discovered the power of noise barrage. So ang noise barrage is a means of mass na gagamit sila o mga tin cans, pieces of wood or steel, and para maho ilang gamit as nag-protest sila para sa Saba, and then ano po nga time is nag-board is the t-shirt with the word of no to the administration candidates printed across the front, which indicate disapproval to the administration. For the first time, ang Catholic Church is ni-appeal na siya on protest. Tungkol sa mga itabo, like salvaging, na nangaapil na dayon ang mga priests, pastors, nuns, and lay church workers, tribal minorities, and urban poor. Between 1978 to 1981, so mo din siya ang record sa mga cases of salvaging, mga na-arrested and detained, tapos nanin, assault, harassment, and many more. It was during this period that the underground publication of Communist Party of the Philippines and liberals, along with the alternative public dailies like Malaya and B-Forum, attracted wide readership, and dili po nagsugod ang Xerox journalism wherein photocopies of articles and readings with subversive content profilated. Then, di na dahil nagsugod na ang religious sectors, ang women's organization, and employees, teachers, and the government is nagsugod na nag-oppose ka Marcos, and then ani na time nagsakit si Marcos, and then na dahil na-threaten na yung regime. Then daghan na dahil tayo mysterious bombing na naitabo sa Metro Manila, which is led by Raul Manglacos from the Movement of Free Philippines, who was then self-exiled in the United States. Bandog siya po na exile is i-accuse siya ni Marcos of bandog to siya na exile kay i-accuse ko siya ng grupo ni Marcos na ga-accuse ko sila ng grupo kang Marcos of dictatorship, graft, and corruption that caused capital fight and unproductivity. Tapos dili na po dayon nga ni taas na ang tax and na-deteriorate na ang economy. Next. So, the assassination of Ninoy Aquino Jr., which is siya ka na the next president after kang Marcos. However, kanang ipa-exile siya ni Marcos sa US tungod kay kabalo siya na ay possibility nga madaog si Ninoy. after ato, um, on August 21, 1983, Ninoy Aquino decided to return to the Philippines using an assumed name Marshal Bonifacio. He believed that he could be more useful to the opposition in the Philippines than in US. Tapos, bago siya nag-uli, iyang isulatan niyang cousin na si Senator Eva Estrada Calao, who was also opposed kang Marcos. Then, all yan inyong gayon. Appeal sa letter is, we must therefore exert every effort to convince Marcos that genuine return to democracy is the only sure path out of enveloping red tide, he concluded. What happened to Ninoy Aquino upon his arrival shocked the whole nation and the rest of the countries that were close monitoring the events in the Philippines. Dili na dayon, ipusil si Ninoy Aquino pagnaog niya sa Dili, ipusil siya sa airport ng Tarmac. Tapos, ilang i-conclude daw na kanina siya nga assassin is lone gunman hired by the communist. However, ang gunman sad kay namatay po siya, kay ipusil po siya sa security sa airport. Then after ani, na dayon ang pasanginan ni dayon ani nga event is ang mga pulis na naa silang Marcos Chief of Staff, General Fabian, General Proper Olivas, Brigadier General Luther Custodio, and other commissioned and non-commissioned officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. However, na-acquitted sila kay kulang daw og evidence. Then, sa paglubog din ani ni Ninoy Aquino is the hundreds and thousands of people attended ani nga sa iyang procession, which observed described as more of a protest march than a funeral procession. So, imbis na funeral to siya nga nahitabo, nahimo na naman siya walk sa mga protesta ng Marcos. And then, moto siya din ito na dahil nagsugod ka dagan na nagprotesta. Then, ang mga crowds dayon is kanang brave na gid kayo sila nga ilang i-face ang mga police na naay mga crowd dispersal weapons like water cannons and tear gas. The opposition led the mass protest joined by the Catholic Church that involved middle-class elements, the business sectors, member of military, and East Out members of the Marcos administration. For the first time, anti-Marcos movement was characterized by people across socio-economic classes, dominated by moderates. Before 1983, the protest movement was dominated by left-leaning sectors, mostly from the basic sectors of society like the workers, peasants, urban poor, and lower middle class. So, after ano nga nakita po is, dito na dahil nagsugod nga, bisan sa laing mga class, dili lang kayo sa mga pobre, apil lang yun sa mga church is, nag-hand in hand na sila nga magprotesta against ka Marcos. So next is the 1986 snap election. So dili nga nagpa-snap election sila kay dagan na nag-ask ka Marcos nga mag-resign na sa iyahang regime. And it was rumored that he had undergone a kidney transplant. As a call of people grew louder each day, young officers within the AFP itself began airing their complaints. Tapos ang US po, nag-apila-pila po sila nga mag-snap election lagi daw. And then dili na dayon, Marcos announced that he was ready for snap presidential election on February 7, 1986. His actions surprised his enemy. Tapos, dili na dayon ni si Cory Aquino, ang widow ni Ninoy Aquino, na nidagan as a opposition candidate with her Vice President Salvador H. Laurel para dayon ma-ensure ang clean and fair voting. Nag-apil na dayon ng mga businessman, cause-oriented organization and national movement for free election or a NAMREL para ani nga mahitabo nga snap election. Then people first fiercely and bravely protected their ballots. Initial count by the COMELEC showed Marcos leading 1.2 million votes, which was contrary to the overall NAMREL tally that gave Cory and Doy a consistent lead. Finally, on the second day after the election, 38 computer programmers of the COMELEC spoke out in the protest of the COMELEC's attempt to manipulate the result shown in the rally board. So dito na nga na tingala sila kay leading man daw na si Cory Aquino. Tapos pagka the next day dayon kay natingala sila si Marcos dayon. So dito na dayon nagsugod na kuan sila. Ilan na una na manipulate na ang voting system. However, at the end of the day, Marcos was declared president-elect, along with Arturo Tolentino as vice president. On the same day, Cory Aquino and a people's victory rally at Rizal Park called a civil disobedience. So dito dayon, kay na-declare naman nga si Marcos na ang president, na dahil dito sa on the same day nga pag-declare kay nag-rally dayon sila about sa People's Victory Rally kay majority man dito sa mga people's with ato na time is si Cory Bidaw tana ang taog. So next. So, muna ni siya, People, Power, at EDSA. The event on February 22, 1986, triggered the downfall of Marcos' government in an unsuspected move by Juan Ponce Enrile. Then Secretary of National Defense Fidel V. Ramos, who detected and severed their ties with Marcos. As later event revealed, the plan by the reformed armed forces Undersecretary Enrile was discovered. That day, they were held up inside Camp Aguinaldo, ready to fight the end. General Mark Ramos joining them strengthened their morale. Then, ang climax din ng People's Power Revolution is the event came with crowds and instead landed the helicopter of the Joint Power Revolution at EDSA. On the morning on February 23, 1986, the oath-taking of Marcos as newly elected president was hastily stopped. So, dapat na pagkauma sa People's Power Revolution is mag-oath-taking na si Marcos para mahimong president, na-stop ko siya. Then, radio stations were captured by the rebel soldiers who were on their way to Malacanang. The U.S. government offered to help Marcos and his family, along with the colony, Danding Huangco, to flee to Hawaii to escape the wrath of the avenging horde. So, nahuman ang People's Power na daw ang mga Pilipino kay itakas man si Marcos. So,
Good afternoon. Morning, everyone. I am Julian Rose Matares, and my assigned topic was the post and the present and the speech of Corazon Aquino of the U.S. Congress. So after the 1986 People Power Revolution, which ended Ferdinand Marcos' rule and restored democracy under Corazon Aquino. So si Corazon Aquino is ibalik niya ang freedom and new constitution sa Philippines. But her time faced problems like bomb attempts and weak economy. In 1992, Fidel Ramos became president and worked to unite the country. Yang gisundo or make peace with rebel groups and improve the economy through his gilaunch ang Philippine 2000, which the Philippine 2000 is kanang gilaunch niya in his 6th term sa pagka-presidente. Dayon, kanang ang goal ana is dapat newly industrialize ang Philippines in the next the next 6 years, which is pagka in the year 2000. Dayon, ang goal ani is to make Filipino people could have better lives, matagaan ng trabaho ang mga Pinoy and strengthen industries such as agriculture, tourism, infrastructure, and trade. Dayon, followed by Joseph Estrada. Kani si Joseph Estrada nag-lead siya in the year 1998 and promised to help the poor. Pero wala na dugay sa office and natanggal na siya or i-remove siya sa office by the year 2001 because of corruption. Next is Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Gloria Macapagal Arroyo lead until 2010. Her term focused on growing the economy and building infrastructure, but it was marked by issues of corruption and election voting. And the Philippines, from 1986 to 2010, the Philippines faced both reforms and serious political, social, and economic challenges. Sa Aquino presidency to 1986 to 1992. So, Aquino, after the People Power and People Power Revolution in 1986, natangtang na si Ferdinand Marcos sa iyahang trono, and President Aquino became the new president of the Philippines. Since Marcos had ruled the 1973 Constitution, which is government system is changed into parliamentary. Ngayon na parliamentary, mo na siya equal ang power ang head of the state, which is the president and the head of the government. Pero sa kanang presidency ni Marcos is nayahatanan ng power because gigamit niya ng system to strengthen his control after niya ma-declare ang martial law. Then, control ko niya ang duha ka branches sa Pilipinas, which is ang legislative o executive. So instead of i-balance ang power both sa duha, Marcos became very powerful and allowed him to rule the country on his own. Dayon, tungod ani ng question ng mga tao kung saan sundo ng Constitution ni Corazon Aquino sa iyang pagtungtong pagka-presidente. When Corazon Aquino took and path niya na siya sa Club Filipino in San Juan, her first action was to appoint leaders or government positions. Kani sila si Salvador Laurel as Vice President, si Fidel Ramos as the Head of Armed Forces, si Juan Ponce de Leon as Secretary of National Defense, si Claudio Tehanuki and Vicente Abad Santos as Justice of the Supreme Court. On March 25, 1986, after niya mag-off dito sa Club Filipino San Juan, i-announce niya ang temporary law called the Freedom Constitution. The Freedom Constitution is a law made by President Corazon Aquino in 1986 after ang People Power Revolution. Nag-create siya to serve as guide sa government while a new permanent constitution was being written. Then, ipriktahan ko diri ang freedom sa tao through the Bill of Rights. And importante nga part sa Freedom Constitution is ang pag-create atong group called the CONCOM. Ang CONCOM is nabuo na siya sa mga tao within the society. Ang ilang leader ana is the former Supreme Court Justice Cecilia Munoz Palma. Kanang CONCOM is whose job was to make a new and permanent constitution. Kani sila is gikan na sila sa different parts of society na ay farmers, professionals, Muslims, women, laborers nga society nga gikan gapon sa Pilipinas. And nahuman nila og sulat ang 1987 Constitution. Dayon nagboto sila ani to approve na plebiscite. Kung anang plebiscite, which is the national vote, in February 2, 1987. And after ma-approve ang Freedom Constitution, gano'n na dayon nag-start, after ma-accept ang Freedom Constitution, gano'n na din nag-mark or start of the 5th Republic, which is the 1987 Constitution of the Philippines. 1987 Constitution, the birth of the Republic, the result of the CONCOM was ratified in National Publicized on February 2, 1987. Ngayon, hindi siya nga, ang 1987 na 35 is, wala siya. Almost same na sila, pero naikiad ng mga new rules. Ang ikiad ng mga new rules is sa 1935, ang ilahang presidency is 4 years na, pero sa 1987 is 6 years na. Ngayon, ang senators po kay 2 terms, wala representative 6 terms. Ngayon, na-declare sa dire na ang Philippines is nuclear-free country, which is meaning no nuclear weapons or energy is allowed. Presidency ni President Aquino, kung siya lisod siya, ay mga instances nga, ay mga diehard bitaw, mga loyal na supporter si Marcos na i-attempt nila o kanang balik ang power pero wala sila nag-succeed. Despite these challenges, nag-focus gapon si Cory Aquino sa pag-improve sa economy, restoring peace and protecting human rights and democracy in the Philippines. So wala sa among PowerPoint ang Cory Aquino's speech sa US Congress, ako na lang i-discuss. So Cory Aquino's speech to the US Congress on September 18, 1986. Iyang speech isugdan niya sa pag-recall sa iyang life journey gikan sa assassination sa iyang bana which is si Ninoy Aquino to the People Power Revolution and the country's hope and freedom for justice. So, ang main point sa iyang speech kay kanin. Ang first is gratitude to the United States. So, masalamat siya for supporting Filipino people's struggle for democracy. Ang second kay ang restoration of democracy, which is emphasize niya dito na ang government sa Pilipinas it was built on the will of the people, not on power or violence. And actually, dun sa speech nga, we fought for our rights with courage and not with faith, not with arms. Next is rebuilding the country. So, yung ingon dito is we need your understanding and support as we rebuild the house of democracy. So, she explained that the Philippines face many problems such as corruption, poverty, foreign debt, nga gibilin ay nagikan pa atong pag-rule ni Marcos. Then she nag-ask po siya of help sa US in rebuilding the economy and strengthening democratic institutions, not as colony, but as a partner in rebuilding democracy and improving people's lives. And nag-promise po siya na restore niya human rights of freedom of speech and fair governance through a new constitution and honest leadership. Next is partnership, not dependence. Yang ingon dito is we seek friendship, not dependence, cooperation, not interference. So, ang Aquino, yan yung ipakita sa yung speech na she wanted cooperation, not control. And thus is commitment of freedom freedom and peace. So the people of the Philippines want nothing more than live in peace, work in freedom and prosper democracy. So she assured that the Philippines, the whole Philippines, would stand by democracy and human rights. So, in simple, kung ikaw siya, in simple term, siguro ang iyang speech sa US Congress was a heartfelt appeal of for partnership, democracy, and rebuilding. And also, ang gratitude niya sa US and the honor po niya ang mga Filipino people for freedom and naghangyog po siya for economic aid to help renew government succeed after years of dictatorship.
Hi, so good morning everyone. My name is Giselle. So today I will be discussing about the new presidential powers and limits. So the 1987 Constitution placed the new checks and balances in the executive branch. A single six-year term, the president is limited to one 6-year term with no possibility of re-elections. So as we can recall back in 1955 Constitution, the term of the president out there is 4 years, right? As we can remember. After the draft of 1987 Constitution, ano po na siya 6 years term, terms of president with no possibility of re-elections. Therefore, so good term is, president is supposed to be, na lang term is 6 years na lang, then hindi na siya pwede mamadagan ng law. Next is appointment powers, presidential appointments, galing PFP, subject to confirmation and definition of appointments. So, ang gudagan po ng president aning time is dapat i-appoint na siya. So, dili siya pwede makadagan if pareho ma-appoint siya mga hierarchy officials or something na siya position sa government yung mag-appoint sa iya as president. Next is martial law limits. The power of declaration of martial law was severely limited, requiring congressional approval and presidential report within 48 hours. So, I guess natagam sila atong martial law ka time before, so ilahan both yun siya nag-explain na hindi ko pwede nag-give ang power sa declaration of martial law if ever makita mo siya law. So, as we can recall now, former President Rodrigo Duterte declared the martial law in the Mindanao during his term. But at that time, dili siya yung severe, just like what happened in Marcos era, Marcos Senior na time. So, yeah, of course, na siya strictly monitored siya, regulated siya at that time. And then, after rin siya, need siyang report within 48 hours. So, 48 hours is equivalent to 2 days. Next. So, PACs, Restore Democratic Institutions. So, this is one of the speech divided. So, immediately lifted the suspension of privilege of freedom habits for the restoring new protection against discrimination. So, first it has defined the writ of habeas corpus. So, the writ of habeas corpus is unlawful detention. Muna siya ang mahitawid is that if ever you are suspected of a crime, and then even if you are not pledged guilty, pwede ka i-detain nila at the moment. No? So, muna yung writ of habeas corpus. So, na siya, privilege siya before. But during this time, suspend siya. So, wala na siya nakakita mo kanina time. So, murag ano po siya ba? Protection po siya sa human rights. Kaya, dili pa mag-put sure na guilty ka, pero pwede na ka-detain. So, ano na time, suspend na siya. Another thing is drafted amnesty to all political prisoners, which resulted in the freedom of about 459 detainees. So, what is amnesty? Amnesty is power na siya or act sa government or president, I can say, na pwede niya i-forgive ang sala or krimen sa isa ka tao or prisoners. So, actually, I have searched about this one. I have found that some of these 459 detainees is rebels daw at the time sa martial law. So, yahan siya, i-forgive niya siya at the time ni Aquino. So, that gave way to the 459 detainees na mag-free sila at the time. So, next is began the restoration of democratic institutions, including an independent cabinet, judiciary, legislature, and free press. So, as we can recall also martial law, especially the judiciary and the legislature is na-stop siya. So, ang power guild ni Marcos at that time is siya ang nagsilbing legislature chief. So, siya ang president no. At ang time din, siya pa rin ang nag-handle ko ng tanan. As well as the free press, at ang time is na-stop siya. So, wala yung kanang press at ang time, only ko kanang kumukupong lang like, kanang bitaw tago-tago lang siya at ang time. So, na-stop na siya at ang time sa martial law. Dahil, during sa time ni Aquino is nabalik siya. So, mao na siya ang isa ka way pod para i-restore ang democracy sa Philippines. So, next is rebuilding the nation. Initiated the restructuring of the massive foreign debt inherited from the Marcos regime. So during the Marcos regime, the whole debt of Filipinas. I have searched about this one. I have found out that ang iyang is atong 1965 daw is 600 million US dollar and atong 1986 is naabot na siya og 28.8 billion US dollar. So dala siya kadako. Dahil ang gihimo ni Aquino at that time is nag-request siya na kaning katong madako nga amount is bayaran siya sa government. Murag budget na siya sa national budget. So, hinahingahin siya away sa Philippines. Then, binabudgetan ko siya sa national budget. So, hindi na siya. Muto, isa pa way para rebuild the nation. So, next is creating the PCGG, or Presidential Commission on Good Government, and recover the ill-gotten wealth. So, kani siya is, of course, gusto mo sa gayo, makaget away sila mga sa Marcos, his family and friends, another time. So, gihiman ni siya, the PCGG, gihiman ni siya itong time ni Aquino para ma-recover ng mga ang wealth na nakuha to or na what actress nakuha nila itong time. So, actually, itong 2023, and ang PCGG is naka-recover sila of 243 billion, I guess, US dollar. 280 billion ang ilahan ng na-recover sa ill-gotten wealth ni Marcos. So yeah, it's start gradual siya, but still there are development. Diba? Next is approve the local government code to strengthen centralized government and empower local units. So during the time of Aquino, they po na-start or na-draft na-approve local government code, which is the Republic Act 7160. So, ang time, kita na ito kami sa ito palibot, sa ito ang municipality na natin mga LGU or local government unit. So, ito time is na, giyan niya siya murang na-approve siya ito time. So, karoon ito ang nag-enjoy administration sa ito ang city. So, ito, example, sa Maramag na siya, LGU Maramag. So, mura siya, ginagpag siya nga government, or siya isangay sa government, or na siya sa ito city lang. So, in that way, magka-communicate sa itong mga pinihanglan, mga citizens, ang hatag ko rin nila. So, that's it. At itong time siya sa organization. So, na-approve na siya. So, itong karoon, ito siya gina-enjoy na mga ano. So, next. Precarious beginning. So, let us discuss about the challenges as well. So, political instability. The first half of the government was precarious. It faced several coup attempts and reform of armed forces movement and hierarchy mga soldiers, nagkuha na yung manok, niya ikaw kay pinalanggang to ni mga manok, so wala kayo kain choice, ihatag na lang daw niya mo kay patayon na daw ka. So, nakikayo sa isa po. So next, but still, gusto nila ang freedom. So yeah, long-term process is still, hindi siya, control siya, pero ano na ito parang yan natin, freedom of speech and all. So kapag yun siyang kaka-exercise na karoon, and then before. So, conclusion, the period of 1986 to 1910 showed how the Philippines tried to rebuild after the Marcos dictatorship. The post-EDSA president, Aquino Ramos Estrada Arroyo, played important role in restoring democracy, rebuilding institution, and pushing economic reforms. So, kami sila mga president, Aquino, Ramos, Estrada, and Arroyo, napagi sila tabang sa para restore ang freedom at mga time. Kaya grabe ang trauma sa mga tao ato. So, wala kayo nila na-exercise sila mga freedom, but still this president na ilang i-try lang best for restore ang democracy back. Next, their time in power was marked by corruption, poverty, and political instability. This struggle showed that while progress was made, many problems remained unsolved. So at the time, especially kay Estrada, there are, I don't know if it's rumors or what, but grabe yung daw siya corrupt si Estrada. No, wala na lang dito sa kamay ni sa diktator, sa kadiktator na leader, pero corrupt gyapon siya. So kaka-experience niya ko na to, dili gyapon siya sa guys. Kapag siya sa but still, ang freedom lang is na-restore lang siya, but still, nakapala siya ng problem is palayo na siya. Up until now, too much corruption na baka-expose. No? Pero, yes, Japan, Pilipinas. Last, this era proved that nation building is a continuous journey. Each administration carried both the achievements and the failure of those before them. So, if gusto mo magdagan ng presidente in the near future, inyuhan na siyang i-carry ang burdens sa last nga administration. Isa man na iyang mga salaan, isa man, like, grabe nga corruption, like, katong massive foreign debt. Kamuno Garcia Aquino, di ba? Inyuhan na siyang mag-carry sa inyong administration. But still, you need to push forward, build, no? Hanggang nga, solve na ng problema sa country as well as, masolve na ng problema sa country in a good way, hindi siya,